Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. So a Kansas pastor checked out a library's LGBTQ books so no one could read them.
No,
Coming to us
he
from the
checked
Friendly
them out.
Atheist. I am not going to read this whole thing because he actually has an interview with the pastor that did that he transcribed a bit of.
Yeah.
So if you want to read that part, you can go to friendlyatheist.com. This is a article from just today, actually. But I'm just going to read the first part of this. Jessa says he's going to have a lot of late fees. He actually says that he plans on returning all the books before their due date, which then begs the question, why did he do it in the first place?
Yeah, what's the difference between you grabbing them and anyone else at that point? Because if one random person grabs the books, then as many people minus one don't get a chance to read them.
Yeah. This is not the first story of this kind that we have covered. I don't remember the details on the other one, but there was someone that went into a library, it was a local representative of 1 Million Moms or some similar organization was like, I'm going to go to the library and check out all the LGBTQ books they have on the display. And then they just put up the other books that they had on the same display once it was empty. And then they record in their ledger that these books are popular. Let's order more of them.
They just want fat material because they believe it's all porn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's not the case, but I'm going to go ahead and work with that.
I have some comments to make about one of the people that we have for the tweets this evening that might be relevant to that. I didn't pull any of the relevant tweets, but I have some stories. It's another one of the it's another one of those personal interactions that I had that was like, this is too good not to talk about. Anyway, a Kansas pastor's plan to disrupt a library's celebration of Pride Month by having his congregation check out all the LGBTQ themed books has predictably backfired.
Wait, so they're all just... So wait, it wasn't just him getting all of them.
He mobilized his church. If you go to Heaven's website, if you go to friendlyatheist.com, they actually have a picture of all the books that they took out, which it's not a lot, but it's more than one person's allowed to check out.
Yeah.
And he actually goes over some of the titles just don't make sense for what they were trying to do. So it's kind of funny. So he posted on Instagram for his congregation, said, "It's Pride Month, a good time to recalibrate what it means to love your neighbor." Making books that they might like inaccessible to them is probably not a form of love.
Being a bigot is not a form of love, and pretending that it is a form of love makes you a broken person. Go fix yourself.
I mean, they're Christians, so that's the whole Christian thing, is we're all broken people, and Jesus fixes us.
No, they need scissors, because then they can't breed. Okay. I need them to fix themselves.
That kind of fix, okay. One way you can love your neighbors and your community is to gather together some of the men in your church and go empty the local library of all their LGBTQ plus books. Start with the kids' books and work your way up. This really is a great way to love your neighbors and serve your community.
Jesus Christ.
So, Heaven brings up a few points, the first of which I'm sure some of you have noticed already. Why is it only men that can check these books out?
Why can't... Is it because the men will be strong enough in the faith not to be swayed by the gay books?
I like Hemmon's thing here. He says, are they worried that if women folk get near literature, they might start learning and educating themselves, and then churches will really be screwed? Yeah, could be that. And then this goes better if you have the picture, which I don't have. He says, why these books? Just look at their sizes. It doesn't even look like they grabbed any kids' books. A closer look at some of the titles showed they just grabbed anything they could find, including at least one romance novel, a book about Black Lives Matter, and a biography of tennis legend Billie Jean King.
We just don't want the gays having access to literature.
Yeah, but then they're like the whole thing is they're trying to protect the kids, but then they grabbed a bunch of books for adults and basically no books for kids.
Yeah.
So okay. The adults could just go to Amazon and order them for themselves. Or maybe even one of the many, many library audiobook apps that you can get. And then they can listen to them on audiobook. Anyway, there was also a Deepak Chopra book in the pile. To which Hemant says, they can keep that one. The rest of us have no use for it.
Yep.
It's like, that's probably not a gay, but like Deepak Chopra, I could see him being on the same side as these guys in the LGBTQ thing. He says, if a book is unavailable, visitors can just reserve it or check it out another time. The act of pretend heroism wasn't preventing anyone from reading LGBTQ stories. At best, it just delayed their efforts.
They can also just read it on the internet.
That too.
Like, you have to be, I'm sorry, but you have to be living in the 1950s for the book's unavailability at your local library to honestly be an impediment to being able to access a book. It is 2024. We have the internet. If you don't believe the internet is a way that we can, read, what are you doing?
It's, if it's an older book too, there's a really good chance that archive.org has it.
Yeah.
Because so many of my, when I'm doing my research or whatever, a lot of times creationists are using older sources or whatever. And if it's from a book, I often find the book on archive.org. And they have, I think the way they work is they have, agreements with libraries where they will allow, they'll allow people to check out the book essentially digitally. And there are limitations on how many people can be reading the same book at the same time, because there's weird copyright things going on with that. I don't know exactly why it works the way it does, but I've never not been able to check out a book with them. And archive.org, it is a great service. It's for more than just finding old websites that are defunct. So, yeah. Anyway, I
want to know the age of this pastor. Do we know the age of this pastor?
I do not offhand. But the director of the Andover Library and other area librarians said that the protest strategy likely would backfire because checkouts are an indication of demand for certain materials. Libraries track demand as they replenish their collections. Where there's high demand and usage of books, those are the ones we want to keep and even replace if they get damaged or not returned. So if the strategy is to get them away from kids, in the short term it might work, but in the long run, we'd be more likely to buy those titles because of their usage. So that's a bit, it's backfiring because they are going to just get more books of that kind now. And then the actual library that I did it from, the Wichita Public Library, they said they highlighted LGBTQ books with a special display during Pride Month, but they did not notice any unusual uptick in checkouts at Wichita branches. So basically, in response to being told that this is what a guy was doing, he's like, yeah, we didn't even notice. He did so little of it. So it's kind of like a sexual partner being like, is it in yet? So yeah, that's all I really want to talk about this one. If you want to read the interview and see the picture of exactly what books they checked out, go to friendlyatheist.com.